So yes, this is yet another show talking about face masks. Don't worry. It has nothing to do with what you think it has to. My name is Steve. This is TQA Weekly. The T stands for technology. And let's talk about governments, cameras, and face tracking here. A lot of you are currently protesting, have protested in the past. Some of you love rioting, which, by the way, along that line, I know some of you find wearing a mask uncomfortable, humid, and hot. Use a little bit of mint or menthol. That'll make everything feel cooler at the same time. Back to my original point. When you're protesting or rioting, one of the problems is cameras being able to identify you. Because the government has cameras capable of identifying people. That is a definite problem. But I have a real big problem with facial tracking. And let's talk about fingerprints first, because that is at least a little bit more reliable than facial tracking. So your right index finger, yes, your right index finger, if you have one, has a 1 in 64 billion chance of being matched to another person. There is about 8 billion people living right now, which is more than the entire history of man. So if you combine all of the history of man with the amount of people today, there is not 64 billion people, which is great, except that it only counts to one finger. So in a crime scene, if they can't figure out which hand or finger it came from, there's roughly 80 billion fingers out there that can match, meaning it's possible that you are identified based on the wrong finger. Luckily, that is not enough information for a court to basically find you guilty, at least. However, to be put in the position to be even charged with a crime, all they have to do is figure out a motive and whether or not you were actually there, which brings us back to facial recognition. Face tracking. You see, in a small group, facial recognition through cameras is pretty accurate. Pretty accurate. I mean, it is accurate enough for them to have come up with a video game like Watch Dogs, where the main character wears a bandana and a baseball cap to keep people from identifying him. Basically one of those states of, government overship. The thing is that when your size of population is too big, facial recognition software ends up with problems where it identifies the wrong person and still can't handle doppelgangers, twins, triplets, and all that. Meaning that there is a huge potential for it to identify the wrong person. So all of a sudden you are somewhere, and then if you even had a remote possibility of having motive, all of a sudden you are a suspect. This is a problem that will end up with a lot of problems in the future that has to be fixed right now, because it poses a serious risk to everybody's rights and privacy, because there is no guarantee whatsoever that the software currently would work correctly at all. Not to mention that it basically violates one of the tenets of human identity, which is privacy. Without privacy, there is no way for you to feel comfortable enough to be unique, to have your own voice, for you to be in the streets protesting against things that you believe are unjust, and therefore meaning that everyone suddenly becomes the same, part of a mold, inhuman, nothing. And this is why you should be signing every single one of those anti-facial recognition petitions out there, fighting against facial recognition, period, and of course, fighting for your right to be unique, fighting for your right to have a voice, and definitely blinding the government by hiding your face, your eyes, and basically making it impossible for them to track you, period. Not just for yourself, but for every other person out there that is fighting for a better cause. So if you want to fight for a better cause or help other people fight for a better cause, hide your face not because of something else, but because governments out there need to be blinded, and you know damn well that they have been abusing our right to privacy for the last 20 plus years because of a singular event that I don't need to mention, that is burnt and etched into every single person that was alive 19 years ago. So like if you like it, dislike it if you didn't, share with those that you think could benefit from this, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have questions, comments, suggestions for topics, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com or go to my website, tqaweekly.com, where you can do other things such as see the show notes of this episode, pass others, find other ways of subscribing, and of course, use the contact form to email me directly. And of course, if you want to see me play video games, go to twitch.tv/zaxis1981 and see my schedule there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.